Joining me now is House Ways and Means Committee member and New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. Congresswoman, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here. Your reaction to the president on the world stage once again doing deals worth hundreds of billions.
That's right. President Trump keeps winning for America. And this is another deal where you're seeing hundreds of billions of dollars in investment. You're seeing thousands of jobs being created. And this is the industries of the future where we need to be competitive, where we need to have an edge, as you say, to compete with China. It's AI, it's quantum computing, and it's nuclear energy, which is critical to ensure that Europe is not reliant on Russia. And so this is very helpful. And the one thing that I think has been overlooked and not talked about enough in this deal is the benefits for our agriculture industry, the farmers that are going to benefit. We've faced trade barriers all around the world for so long for American products. And here's President Trump in deal after deal, reducing those barriers, making it more fair for our farmers to compete overseas and to export. So I think this is great. This market access is critical. And the other thing that we're seeing is, again, private investment. The president has already attracted trillions of dollars in private investment to the United States of America, where companies are expanding their manufacturing capabilities and investing significantly. It's not like what you saw in the Biden administration, which is taxpayer money subsidizing losers. That's what we saw under Biden. Here we're seeing companies willing to put up their own money to be here in the United States and in where our allies are.
I want to switch gears, Congresswoman, and ask you about you and your colleagues and your efforts to move on cracking down on crime in the nation's capital. You've passed new bills to toughen penalties for juveniles, including trying violent offenders as adults starting at age 14. Democrats are responding once again with criticism. They say keeping Americans safe is fascist. Watch this clash between Rashida Tlaib and Byron Donalds.
And I think it's really important. We need to stand up against this. Fascist takeover, that's not a bad word. It's a fact.
Do I look like a member of the Third Reich to you, Ms. Tlaib? Is that what I look like to you?
You're the one taking your voting card.
Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Is that what you think?
No, that's unethical.
I think it's radical and I think it's insane. And I'll respect everything that you say. But to say something like that to myself and a lot of my colleagues is way out of line. It's way out of line. It's way out of line.
Regular order, Mr.
Way out of line.
Wow. I mean, that was embarrassing, Congresswoman.
The radical left believes that grown men, 25 years old, under 25 years old, should be tried as children. Imagine a 24-year-old repeat offender being charged as a juvenile for a felony. It's happening here in Washington, D.C., and we've seen those juvenile arrests double year after year since this radical law took effect. So we're using our jurisdiction, our oversight, because we do have the ability to override Washington, D.C. City Council law with our law that says, no, if you are 18 years old, you're being tried as an adult. And that is very appropriate. It's unfortunate we can't do the same thing in New York City. New York City raised the age, and guess what? You saw a increase. Felony arrests have doubled since that law took effect in 2018. 136% increase in juvenile gun arrests. We've seen over the summer multiple people murdered by kids as young as 13 years old. So it's a shame we don't have that same authority to rein in cities like New York who believe in these leniency and get out of jail free cards and no accountability.
Well, speaking of New York City, let's look at this latest poll for Mayor Zohran Mamdani with a 15-point lead over Andrew Cuomo. But while Mamdani has gotten the backing of New York Governor Kathy Hochul, the powerful head of New York's Democrat Party is refusing to endorse him. Jay Jacobs releasing a statement that reads in part, I reject the platform of the so-called Democratic Socialists of America and do not believe that it represents the principles, values, or policies of the Democrat Party. For those reasons, I will not be endorsing Mr. Mamdani for mayor of the city of New York. Congressman, according to these polls, this message is falling on deaf ears. We've got lawmakers like AOC watching all of this closely. There is an article today saying she is getting herself ready to run for president in 2028. Your reaction to the polls and the situation in New York?
If we allow socialism to take over New York City, it will spread throughout this country, and that is why we need to stop it. The bottom line is Andrew Cuomo signed the radical bail law that increased crime in New York City. Mamdani supports it and even wants to go further, says that we should abolish ICE, that NYPD is the greatest threat to our public safety, doesn't believe there's a place for jails in our society. All these Democrats, whether it's Mamdani or Kathy Hochul, are responsible for the mess in New York City. This is our one chance to change things. I've endorsed Curtis Sliwa because he is the one candidate who's not like the others who have contributed to the demise of our city. And he has helped transition homeless and mentally ill off our streets. He started the Guardian Angel because he cares about public safety decades ago. He has been serving this city, knows our transit system and what it will take to keep it safe because he's been on every transit line in this city. He's been to every housing project in our city. I hope that people see what's going on here and send a really strong message to AOC, to the Bernie Sanders and all the others who want socialism in this country, that we will not accept the radical policies of Karl Marx. I mean, he's even gone so far to say he wants to seize the means of production. We should have government-run supermarkets. That is not what we need in New York City, the economic engine for the country, and the largest city, by the way, in our country as well, which contributes greatly in tax revenue for the United States of America.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Curtis Sliwa wants to cut taxes and do a couple of other things, but your colleagues seem to question him. You're not getting a lot of support, even from the Republicans. He's the only Republican in the race. So I assume your colleagues are getting behind Andrew Cuomo.
Well, look, as somebody who ran for mayor of New York City in 2017, it's not easy running in New York as a Republican. People don't give you a fair shake. The media doesn't give you coverage, and it's hard. But I think Curtis is running a very respectable campaign. He's talking about the issues. He is not sleeping. He's out there every day, every night, campaigning, talking to people, going to where they are, in the subway stations, at the NYCHA housing. But if they want not to do, they want common sense. They want common sense and public safety, and again, businesses allowed to thrive in our city. They should do something different, and voting for Curtis Sliwa would certainly be different.
Do you think that there's a feeling in the GOP that they're willing to sacrifice New York because they feel that if Mamdani wins in New York, they'll have a better shot at winning in the 2026 midterms? Is that what this is about?
I think there are some Republicans that may feel that way, and I find that very disheartening, particularly because I have to live here. I'd rather not learn the hard way. I think that's what's going to happen here. New Yorkers are going to either learn the hard way that we cannot support radical socialists to run a city like New York, and hopefully we won't have to. They'll learn now as we talk about and expose Zohran Mamdani for who he is, and they'll reject him at the ballot.
All right, we will leave it there. Congresswoman, we're watching your work. We appreciate your time. Thanks very much for being here this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis.